This is Alaró, or actually officially 328 degrees. This is the Alaró is the mountain just in front of the winery here, and this is for me to remind me every day that this is a very important wine for us. It's very often actually our favorite wine. This is a wine that we decided to make originally because this is a wine, in my opinion, you a little bit miss in a very hot place like this, because this is like a kind of Beaujolais wine. Of course not a Beaujolais, but it's a kind of Beaujolais wine, a wine that has low alcohol. It has a very easy structure, not a lot of tannins, and then it's very easy drinkable, and normally should also be drinking cold. So it's a terrace wine for us. We always did it with two different grapes.
Yeah.
It's, of course, the blend are always different because our wines are never the same. This year we had, I think the year now we had the most grenache inside. It was 94% of grenache and only 6% of Merlot we put inside this wine in this vintage 24.
But it was actually way more complicated than that. It was my headache wine of the vintage. I remember Julie and me, we were spending days and days in the winery, in the cellar, to make this, because it seems simple, but something simple like this is very difficult to make. So we started out, as always, with the grenache from the vintage, only in stainless steel. And then the idea is that we would just add a little bit of Merlot from barrel, but no. This year we tasted the grenache, which was very juicy and happy, but lacked a little bit of structure. So the first thing we did was adding a barrel in of grenache from the year before. So we started playing around with aging a little bit of grenache in barrel, just to see how it develops, and it's delicious. So 1 barrel of grenache in from 23 vintage, and then we started adding Merlot, but we ended up with only even half a barrel, so 250 liters. And then we were still missing something, and there we went into mental block. We tried everything and it just kept getting worse, until a point where we started opening, as an inspiration actually, the former vintages of Alaró, and we were like, 22 was really good. And finally we actually opened some bottles of Alaró 22 and put into Alaró 24, and it worked. So here you go, a very complex, simple wine. So let's see how it smells.
In the nose, and of course also, but in the nose primarily, for me it's these classic wet berries, strawberry. It's like cherries, things like this. So, and also have a little bit different ones. It has like,
that's a sweetness to it, no?
Yeah, perhaps orange sweetness from blood orange or something like this. So it's but again, it has typical red notes that are good, because this is what we like to expect, but it gets freshness from more tropic things somehow. I don't know where it comes from.
No, it's true, but it also then, when you're on the palate, but we really focus, it's so difficult to make a red wine that tastes of a red wine but doesn't have tannins, because especially when you serve it cold like this, then the tannins become really dry and aggressive. And here the finest work we did was really avoiding tannins, and then having the freshness on one side, but then complexity on the other hand. And I'm really happy. I love this wine. As you said, it's one of our favorite wines, because we're sitting here and it's 30 something or more degrees. You want to drink a red, but you don't want to drink a heavy red with oak at 18 degrees centigrade. You want something cold and fresh, but that matches your steak. So here you go.
Yeah, and actually it's not every day, but some days I want to go home, and then when I'm a little bit tired in there, I sit in the terrace, and then I just want to relax and then get one glass of red wine. This is always the one I open. Yeah. I really rare have them the right temperature, so because I always have to bring them from the winery. So actually, I just put an ice cube inside. It's I have a lot of questions when I have a lot of tastings. Everybody say, "Oh, do you put an ice cube inside?" I said, "Yeah, actually, for me the temperature is more important. Sometimes, of course, it's better. We normally do in now we have the possibility, because we will harvest in 3 weeks, that we will take grapes from the vineyards and then we put them in the freezer, and then we freeze down the grapes, and then you can put grapes inside, and then you actually don't have the water. But that's only a few times a year we can do this. And one very important thing, always use organic grapes. Don't buy the grapes in the supermarket.
And buy in your freezer, and then make frozen grapes for the entire year.
Yeah, okay. That's also a possibility. We have the possibility. Let's see, we have to do this. But more important, the temperature. So if you have to put an ice cube, if that's the only possibility, just do it.
Exactly, because with the temperature you really get the fruit out. It's so juicy, so drinkable. It's, again, one of our happy wines.